I can think of no better ode to adventure than many of these series. Doesn't it make you just want to go, Pinksu no sake o toroke ni yuku yo, umikaze kimikaze nami makase, shio no mukou de yui mo sawagu, sora nya wa kakutori no uta, yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho. Here are your nominees for Best Adventure of 2024.
本当に実践は重要だ。少なくとも大コウモリを犬の代用にしてはいけない理由がまさかこれほどとはね。遅くなったね。よかった。ナミさん、あなたは私の希望です。
では先に。
よし、あん、お前も早く。
ダメ。ファーテン。勝て。
And our jury and public winner for Best Adventure Anime is Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
I mean, it's got adventure in the name, right? Like Journey's right there. I don't know what else could have won.
Just goes to it by default, I guess.
Yeah, little did you know the R Anime Awards. You just have to say the thing, and then that's how you win. What are your thoughts on Frieren, Ember?
Yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites from last year. Just I've been following the manga for a while, and this is possibly the best possible adaptation you could have gotten out of it. Just an incredibly beautiful from just about every angle, and it really sort of takes that mindset of adventure to heart in this sort of post hero beats the demon lord setting that really allows these characters to explore a world that we don't normally see in a lot of anime. This sort of what happens after the big climax.
And kind of like the way that they go about it is using the excuse of like following a character like Frieren who has such a long life and different approach to what life is, even, you know, and what the like ramifications of having such a long life affects how you live that life.
Yeah, I'm definitely a huge sucker for the like reframing mundanity into ways that make you appreciate them a lot more, even in like a very like hyper fantasy kind of setting like this.
But even beyond the premise, Frieren has just so much going for it, just in general, right? I mean, you've got the tremendous animation, you've got the, I mean, real actual sense of adventure. I mean, they're like, you know, sometimes adventure series, it's like technically adventure, or, you know, in the past this category used to be called adventure fantasy, where, you know, technically it's adventure, but they're just kind of in a different setting. It's not really like a journey. But in Frieren, you know, you very clearly moving point to point, meeting new people along the way, coming and going. I think it really does preserve that kind of raw sense of adventure that we seek to celebrate in this category.
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially just like it actually takes place over like so much longer a time frame than you get with a lot of other adventure anime. Like with a lot of other stuff, it's normally like a couple months to a year at most. But this one, like even after like Fern's like growing up, it still takes like a long time for them to do stuff, and it really allows you to appreciate just how much time these characters are spending together and how much of the world they are getting to explore in like a more prolonged period of time.
Now, Mira, I see that the jury and the public both have the same top two. It's Frieren and then Dunmeshi, which obviously is amazing as well. Did Frieren barely just beat out Dunmeshi, or was it pretty close? Like, is there a different alternate universe where Dunmeshi wins this?
That is an excellent question, and I definitely see that Dungeon Meshi could have won the jury vote, the public vote as well, though in some cases I doubt that. And though I would say also in terms of the jury that Fan Letter was a very strong contender for a winner of the jury.
Hmm.
Fan Letter was one of the most impressive theme shows from a thematic sense, I think. Also, we found a lot of the animation very impressive of it and the directing. And Fan Letter is an incredibly dense experience, so to say. What they managed to pack in that short time frame is also very incredible.
Yeah, I mean, now that you think about it, Fan Letter is just like this like one episode, and it's being compared to and standing up against these like, I mean, Free Run is like 28 or something, right? So that's pretty impressive in its own right. Now, Ember, I heard that you maybe just be a fan of One Piece. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm a big fan of One Piece. Mostly the manga. I haven't really watched a lot of the animes, but I'm barely up. I'm in the Egghead saga right now, but yeah, this
Ooh.
was definitely like a nice little treat for like hardcore fans of the series, and also just people who really enjoy the idea of One Piece in general. It's just got so like, aside from just like the little fan service nods here and there, it really this is the One Piece equivalent of like some of the more smaller Pokemon spin-offs we've gotten in recent years, like Twilight Lings, where it's like, well, let's take a look at just this little pocket of this fantastic world that we have to explore, and just look at like a completely different set of characters and how they live in this world.
Another thing about Fan Letter is that it even works as sort of not a one for people who are One Piece fan, but because it really nails the fan experience, even if you of just fans in general, of how media or other heroes can affect us, even if we aren't specifically fans of those in people in particular.
Yeah, it's almost got this like meta element to it, right? It's focus on these supporting characters who are fans of the main characters, but then the person watching Fan Letter is also a fan, and it becomes this kind of like tiered experience. But I found that kind of really resonant. I did the favor of going back and looking at the vote totals for the public, and actually, never mind. There's no way that Free Run is ever going to lose this thing. It beats Dungeon Meshi by about like a little under 1,000 votes. So, um, people be loving Free Run.
I'm not surprised by that. It's still number one on Mal after like over a year, which is insane.
It's so funny because I kind of thought it I don't know. My impression of it was starting to wane the longer things went on. I mean, I don't know if it's just like the circles I run in are particularly like anti-popular stuff or whatever, but I just didn't know how long its staying power was going to last. Did we get confirmation of a season 2? I think there's a lot of rumors floating around, but nothing explicitly said, right?
I don't see any. Oh yes, I think there is a Mal
Ooh.
entry for it. So I guess there was an announcement at some point.
Exclusive announcement on the R Anime Awards. Free season 2. You heard it here first. But Ember, was there anything in this list that you found particularly surprising that you think should be shouted out more?
Honestly, yeah, a lot of the jury picks actually, like Train to the End of the World, I'm surprised was managed to get all the way up to number 5 on here. I'm a huge Tsutomu Mizushima fan, so this just wacky train adventure really was a ton of fun. And also, shout out to that new Precure movie, All Stars F, which might be my favorite Precure thing to date at this point.
Isn't that basically like Precure Avengers?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, it's got all of them. And I've only been watching Precure since around Hugto, but you know what? That was perfect, because when Curiel got up and started doing her chant, I like started subconsciously mouthing along with it. I'm like, oh god, this rules.
Well, you heard it here, guys. Whatever brand of adventure you're into, it's recognized and represented here. But thank you guys so much for stopping by and having a talk with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.